to talk about the project CONCERT. CONCERT is actually an abbreviation of Concerted Action for the Integration of Radiation Protection Research in Europe. CONCERT is a project within the framework of the Horizon 2020, and it's the special thing with CONCERT is that it is a European joint program. It's the first in the Euratom area and the first also in all other areas. So that is a very challenging and interesting program. European Joint Program means it's a co-fund action, so it's funded by the European Commission as well as by the member states interested in radiation protection research. As you can see here, CONCERT is a kind of umbrella structure, an umbrella for 5 European research platforms in radiation protection. That's MELODY for the low-dose research, it's NERIS for the emergency preparedness, it's Alliance for the radioecology research, EURADOS for dosimetry, and EURAMED for medical radiation protection research. And plus these, we have 33 national program owners or managers. These are funding agencies like, for example, ministries or other funding agencies in the countries, or managers which do the work for the program owners. As all the other projects, CONCERT is doing its work in work packages. So for the most important, the open call, preparation and implementation, we do have 3 work packages, one on the integration and SRA development in the platforms. This is led by the University of Eastern Finland. Then the work package 3, priority research and joint programming needs in the perspective of European integration, which is led by SEK, and we will hear more about it by Nathalie soon. Work package 4 is for the management of the open RTD calls. This is done by the Agence Nationale de la Recherche, in Paris. And then we have 3 work packages for cross-cutting themes. Work package 5 is for stakeholder involvement and communication of scientific evidence and radiation protection research, which is led by Public Health England. Work package 6, access to research infrastructures, led by ZEA in France. And work package 7, education and training, led by the University of Pavia in Italy. And the overall coordination is done by the Federal Office of Radiation Protection in Germany. Here you can see the same in a figure. You can see the horizontal bars, the blue ones. This is all for the preparation and the administration and management of the open calls of CONCERT. And the vertical bars, the orange ones, these are the integrative measures of the project. In addition, we have a work package 8 for ethics and a work package 9 where all the research projects which are selected through the open calls of CONCERT, where these projects will be gathered. We have an external scientific advisory board which gives advice how the CONCERT is performing, and we have for the management of the whole project an executive board with all the work package leaders and the platforms, and a management board with all the participants and partners of CONCERT. So who are the participants? As already said, the coordination is done by BFS. Then we have the work package leaders. We have the 4+1 research platforms. So EURAMED in the moment is still an observer because we have to do a grant agreement amendment to get them on board. Then we have the national program owners, national program managers, altogether 33 from 24 member states plus Norway and Switzerland. And we have 20 so-called linked third parties, which are linked to the POMs or to the platforms. Here you can see the graphical the distribution. We have covered nearly all Europe, so we have POMs from or platforms or LTPs from nearly all European countries except Ireland, Luxembourg, Cyprus and Malta. And the good and important thing about Concert, it is still open to new national program owners and managers at any time. So as I said in the beginning, Concert is a co-fund action. That means about 70% of the funding is coming from Euratom and 30% of the funding is coming from member states interested in radiation protection research. So altogether, the money from the European Commission and from the member states altogether is about 28 million euro in 5 years. As you can see from the funding scheme, 60% of the money is for the Concert 2 open research calls 2016 and 2017, and 30% is for integrative activities of Concert. A maximum of 10% is for the overall administration and management. I come now to the Concert calls. Based on the strategic research agendas of the research platforms and joint programming, research priorities are selected and published in open calls. This is a great opportunity for European research institutions so they can be partner in a consortium and submit research proposals. I think it's really great networking opportunity, and networking itself is much more important than funding. Because in networking you will get to know colleagues working in the same field, and that can really be a source of inspiration for your own future research. So in the first call, which was 2016, we had 2 topics: the improvement of health risk assessment and reducing uncertainties in human and ecosystem radiological risk assessment and management in nuclear emergencies and existing exposure situations. And I would like to say a few words about the reviewing procedure. BFS developed a data bank on the basis of recommendations of platforms. And in this data bank we have worldwide recognized experts in radiation protection. This is handed over to ANR in Paris. They have a senior reviewers group which allocates reviewers to the proposals and the other way around, so that we always have 3 reviewers for 1 proposal. And in the end of the reviewing process there is a peer review panel meeting where the ranking list is prepared on the basis of evaluation criteria. And evaluation summary reports are prepared at the end. So just a short look at the timetable for the first call. Actually between the deadline for submission of proposals, which was 2nd of August, and the start of the first 3 projects is about 5 months. For the first call, in total there were 12 proposals submitted by 147 partners from 85 different institutions in 26 countries. 8 proposals responded to topic 1 and 4 proposals to topic 2. If you have a look at the special bulletin of R2, which was published in February, you can learn more about the content of the project and the partners of the consortia. So these were the 3 projects selected from the ranking list: Confidence, LD Land, Drive and Territories. So 2 from topic 2 and 1 from topic 1. And this is an overview of the total cost of the 3 projects. Now we come to the second call, which has just been published. Here you can see we have also 2 research topics and a number of subtopics. Understanding human health effects from ionizing radiation and improving dosimetry is the topic 1. And radioecology, emergency and social sciences and humanities is the topic 2, also with a number of subtopics. All this can be found on the homepage of CONCERT. Looking at the timetable, we hope that we can start with the first project maybe beginning of October if it runs smoothly like during the first call. So that should be possible to start on 1st October. And as I said, more information you can find on the homepage of CONCERT. And I hope very much that you decide for yourself to take part in one of the proposals. Please have a look at our homepage, and I wish you good luck if you want to write a proposal. Thank you very much for listening. Hand over to Constanze.
Okay, thank you. And I will just put on the next presentation by Natalie Impens. And yeah, hand over to Natalie.
Thank you, Constanze. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you well. And
okay, then I can start.
Everyone.
Good morning to everybody. So I will give a little bit more explanations about how Work Package 3 has worked towards the priority setting for the first and the second CONCERT call. The title of my presentation is the Priority Research and Joint Programming Needs in the Perspective of European Integration. I must say that today I will not say much about the joint roadmap, setting up a joint roadmap in radiation protection research, because this is not in the scope of the call preparations. But this is part of Work Package 3. Okay, I can even use a pointer. So Work Package 3 is quite central in the CONCERT project. And it's not only central in this figure, but also to set priorities for the calls, we need information from all the other work packages to see what are the priorities and how we can best use the resources that we have in radiation protection research. A very important work package which gives us information is Work Package 2, where the different platforms in radiation protection research, which have been lined up by Annemarie, prepare strategic research agendas, and they also prepare each time before there is a call priority statement with the priorities in research related to their discipline in radiation protection research. Now, we also need to have information from the program owners to see what is the national needs in radiation protection research. but we will see this on the next slide. So, yeah. In the call topics, we need to align the European and the national needs for research. So we take into account, on one hand, the priorities set by the European platforms, and on the other hand, we have asked all the program managers and program owners whether they have some priorities research that they would like to see within the call. And so we took into account what has been sent to us, and yeah, we aligned it with what was presented by the European platforms. Now this alignment is not so difficult because most platforms cover a lot of national members. So there is an overlap in what is presented by the European platforms on one hand and the national program owners and program managers on the other hand. And one of the tasks of CONCERT is of course also to look for research needed to implement the basic safety standards. And we took all this into account in the call topics. The aims of the call are to support transnational research projects that combine innovative approaches in the field of radiation protection in line with the research priorities of CONCERT, to actively integrate education and training activities and collaboration with universities in multidisciplinary research projects, because we have to make sure that there is a sustainable community of researchers in radiation protection research. And we also need to make optimal use of the research infrastructures. And project proposals will address multidisciplinary and transnational research. The project proposals must fall within one of the following topics, and we will come back to the topics later on. They may answer on one or more subtopics in the topics when appropriate. So first, before I say something on the topics, I will show you about the process towards the definition of the call topics and how we align European and national research priorities. So, as I said before, in Work Package 2, all the platforms have a little bit of funding to prepare updates of their strategic research agendas and also some statements. You can see here the different platforms. NERIS for emergency preparedness. There is Alliance for radioecology. There is Melody for low-dose research. There is Eurados for the dosimetry research, and there is Euramed for medical applications using ionizing radiation. These platforms have been supported by the Euratom already in several projects, for example PREPARE in NERIS, COMET and STAR for Alliance, DORIMI, there is also OPERA, TechRec, and Euramed is too young to have already projects running on medical applications. And not to forget, there is an important link with social sciences and humanities. As you know, European joint programming needs also a contact with the society, because European joint programming normally deals with research that is important for the society. And if we want to do research not on our island, but we want to be connected with this society, we need some expertise in social sciences and humanities to deal with how to communicate and to interact with the society. And there are also some projects that have supported social sciences and humanities related to radiation protection research. Now I will go quickly over the different platforms. As you can see here, for Melody there have been supported many different projects already. Melody has prepared priorities in 2016, which have been taken into account to prepare the second call. There is Eurados also supported. We show here also how many voting members we have in the different platforms. What is the mission? Eurados is around dosimetry. Eurados has also made priorities in 2016. Then NERIS, its mission is on radiation, preparedness and management of nuclear emergency situations. Also has 49 organizations from 23 countries. It was also supported by Euratom with the PREPARE project. NERIS also made some priorities. Then there is Alliance, which is a little bit smaller, which was also supported by Euratom in 2 projects. And Alliance made also some priorities. And then there is EuroMed, which is the new platform, which is around the medical applications of ionizing radiation. Its vision is to lead European research activities in medical radiation protection and to assume an umbrella function for the harmonization of practice to advance the European radiation protection safety culture in medicine. It represents a consortium of associations involved in application of ionizing radiation in medicine in different ways. There is nuclear medicine, there is medical physics, there is radiography, there is radiology, and there is radiotherapy and oncology. All this is within this EuraMed umbrella. And they made their first strategic research agenda in September 2016. So their priorities, I put a little bit more time on the medical platform because it is new. Maybe some of you don't know it yet. So their priorities in 2016 were as follows formulated: patient-tailored diagnosis and treatment, full exploitation and improvement of technology and techniques with clinical and dose-structured reporting. And the second priority was individual patient-related radiation sensitivity and early biomarkers of response and morbidity. They have more priorities, but I only put the ones that they have given to us to take into account in the second call of concert. And then there is social sciences and humanities. They have a strategic research agenda first version, and they also wish to create a platform. And they have been supported with 2 projects, Eagle and Platenso. And this is the priority that they have presented for the second call. Models, tools and rationales for stakeholder engagement, which is very important, and informed decision-making in radiation protection research, policy and practice for situations involving exposure to ionizing radiation. So they want to support us to link with the society. And here you can see how was the working procedure in work package 3 to go to define the second call topics. So we took into account texts that were prepared to see what research is needed to implement basic safety standards. This comes from Work Package 2, all the SRAs and priorities from the platforms, also from Work Package 2. In the time that we made this graph, the medical platform was not yet a platform. Then we have social sciences and humanities, also from Work Package 2. There is education and training and integrative activities concerning infrastructure, and also how to involve stakeholders in research definition. So this came from the different work packages. We also asked all the program owners and program managers to give some priorities that could be of European relevance. We had a consultation meeting with the Concept Management Board, which are in fact the bonds. This has been done 23rd of September 2016. Oh, sorry, this was for the first call. No, sorry. We then received the outcome of the first call, And so we took this into account to make the final text to be proposed to Work Package 4 on the 17th of November 2016. And we presented this in an open consultation on 18th of November, where also already questions could be made by the audience on the priorities and call conditions, but I limit myself to call priorities. There was then an approval, a final approval of the priorities after some minor changes by the audience and by management board members. And then the call priorities were submitted to Work Package 4. So we try to be as open as possible to create the priorities, to take into account everything we could find with relevant stakeholders at that moment. Then, as Annemarie already told, there are in the second concept call 2 priority topics with subtopics. And these priority topics are, the first one is understanding human health effects from ionizing radiation and improving dosimetry. And in this there are 3 subtopics, one more related to low dose and dose weight radiation, the other one on dosimetry, and then the third one more with medical emphasis. And then the second topic is on radioecology, emergency and social sciences and humanities. And sorry, this should be 1, 2, and 3. I see two bullets, but it should be three the numbered bullets. And as said before, the project proposals may deal with one or different subtopics in one topic if this is relevant. Now, all the full text, I cannot tell you the whole full text in 15 minutes, so I will not do that. You can find the full text of these topics on the website of CONCERT. To go to the recommendations with regard to impact and collaboration, proposals must clearly demonstrate the potential impact on radiation protection in Europe, as well as the added value of transnational collaboration. Collaboration is very important. Sharing of resources, harmonization of data, sharing of specific know-how and or innovative technologies. And the individual project partners of the joint application should be complementary, and the proposed work should contain novel, innovative, ambitious ideas and their potential application to the end user. And then with regard to education and training, the recommendations are as follows. Education and training is a part of all activities within CONCERT. Proposals should include a plan for integration of education and training into the research program with a description of the proposed activities. The proposals should also give details of collaboration or involvement with academic departments and of intended PhD thesis work, Master of Science project work, teaching seminars, ad hoc courses on the topics of the proposal, etc., where possible. And regarding quality assurance, open access and infrastructures, proposals must clearly identify the infrastructures required to perform the research and belonging to the following 3 categories: irradiation platforms and contamination sites, databases, sample banks and cohorts, analytical platforms, models and tools. The applicant to the call should document the expertise in using such infrastructures, and the proposals must demonstrate the appropriateness of the approaches, techniques or infrastructures that they plan to use in terms of feasibility, reliability, quality assurance and traceability of the results to be generated in relation to the objectives of the project. And then a data management plan, and if applicable, a sample management plan should be included in the project proposal. And there is a link where to find how to do this Now, with regard to social sciences and humanities, you have seen that in the second topic there is a subtopic which is related to social sciences and humanities. But social sciences and humanities are in fact also a cross-cutting issue. So wherever it is possible, it may be integrated in parts of the first topic. Then the timetable, also already shown by Annemarie. 18th of January there was a pre-announcement on the website of CONCERT about the call topics. Then the publication of the joint call was on the 1st of March of 2017, and the deadline for submission is the 2nd of May 2017. Also here, more information on the call is in detailed text available on the website. You can click on the link. Funding. In the second call, we have less money than in the first call, and as we wanted to have a balanced funding for the different research areas in radiation protection research, and with regard that in the first call there was much less money related to what we could call topic 1. We have now a reversed ratio of funding for topic 1 and topic 2. And for the first topic, topic 1, 80% of the funding will be available, and it is intended to fund up to 3 projects. In the second topic, there is only 20% of the budget available, and there the funding could go to up to 2 projects. And this is the end of my talk. I would be glad to answer some questions. And now I go over to Constanze.
Okay, thank you for your talk. So I think before we come to the questions, we will listen to the last talk for today by Michael Warnings, and should be up in a minute. And
Hello everyone, I hope everyone can hear me. I will give you a brief overview over the call conditions and the financial rules specific to European joint programs. And I've seen that a couple of questions have already been raised that tie in, I believe, with my presentation. And maybe I can, by giving my presentation, answer a few of your questions already. Now, first of all, a brief look on the legal framework of CONCERT as a European joint program. We are operating under the umbrella of a grant agreement that the CONCERT consortium has concluded with Euratom. And this is important to keep in mind. We have a contract with Euratom, not the EU. Euratom, as many of you know, is a sort of sibling to the EU, shares institutions with the EU, but it's not the same. It has its own rules, and that will become important when having a closer look on, especially on the call and who may participate in the call. I will come to that issue later. The grant agreement we have with Euratom gives us the rules for the calls on how we can conduct the calls and how we receive funding from Euratom and how we can give funding to third parties. So essentially everything on the funding is in the grant agreement. And I would like to add, we have, because we get a lot of criticism, we have very little leeway. The rules are very strict. Mainly so because we are using taxpayer money, and we have to be very prudent when using taxpayers' money, so strict rules apply here. You have already heard about the consortium, the composition of the consortium. Right now we have 38 beneficiaries, which breaks down to 33 program owners or program managers, and 5 platforms. Program owner or program manager is a designation the European Commission used in its work program for Euratom. Both terms refer to a characteristic of an institution. Program owner or program manager, with program it means radiation protection funding schemes or funding programs within the member states. And program owners are typically ministries who give away, who have money, who run these programs, or program managers are entities within the member states mandated by the ministries, for example, to administer these programs. So a program owner would typically be a ministry. Program manager is a government agency who runs radiation protection research programs. Apart from that, we have right now 20 linked third parties. These are entities that do not meet the requirements to become program owner or program manager, but have a close link or an affiliation to a program owner or program manager. So they are third parties essentially with a special link, and thus elevated to this status. They are explicitly mentioned in the grant agreement we have with Euratom, and they, as far as the funding from Euratom is concerned, are treated just like a beneficiary. I will come to the funding scheme later. Just here to keep in mind, linked third parties are treated just as beneficiaries are. We are in the process of enlarging the consortium, or it has been enlarged only recently by adding a number of new beneficiaries, and we are right now launching an amendment to bring in new linked third parties. So the matter of funding rates has already been raised in one of the questions, I believe. The whole European Joint Program, or considered as a European Joint Program, is run according to the co-financing principle. This is a principle deeply rooted in European budget law. The European Union, or Euratom in our case, gives grants to national entities, to member state entities, but with the requirement that the national entities also bring in some money, bring in a national co-fund. And our funding rate, the general funding rate for CONCERT is 70%. We get a 70% reimbursement from the European Commission, from Euratom, for our activities in CONCERT. But it's important we have a something specific to CONCERT. We have funding rates, different funding rates within CONCERT, within the different work packages. So our external funding rate in relation to Euratom is 70%. Within CONCERT it can be higher, up to 100% in some work packages, or it can be lower, something around 54%. The funding rate in for the call is 69%. So you get 69 reimbursement for your costs. And one more, or maybe that's better explained with the next slide, how the money flows, how the funding actually works. First of all, you have to be a beneficiary or a linked third party to participate in the funding in general. So you spend money to perform something. You perform a task within CONCERT. You do something. You do research. You participate in CONCERT activities as described in our description of action. And you spend money for that, either that, or you fund a third party. There's the third party. There is a university or a hospital that does research, and you want to fund this research. So this is how you spend money. and you want a reimbursement. So you have to report the money you spend to Euratom, to European Commission, a financial statement. We have periods, and for each period we have to report how much money we spend on tasks, on funding, on financial support to third parties. So say you as a beneficiary or linked third party, you spend 100 euros, you report, I spent 100 euros, and you get 70%, 70 euros you get back. This money goes not directly to the beneficiary or the linked third party. It first goes to the coordinator. That's the BFS in the case of Concert, Bundesamt für Straßenschutz in Germany. And it's the task of the coordinator to redistribute the money within the consortium. So in this case you'd get 70 euro back for the 100 euro you spent. So you have to spend money first. You will not receive money immediately. First you have to come up with cash and you have to spend money. You have to spend money on tasks or financial support to third parties. Although this is the circle, how it works. Now, a close look on the specific relationship between beneficiary or linked third party and a third party, how financial support works. Financial support is essentially is a grant. It's not a subcontract. It's not contracting out work. Someone performs something that you have an interest in, but you do not buy it. It's not a service provided to you. You fund it basically for its own sake. Financial support, in order to be eligible, to constitute an eligible cost that you can report to the European Commission and receive a reimbursement, must be provided by a beneficiary or a linked third party. If the third party, if the university or whatever, receives money from someone else, the ministry, a funding agency in your country, that's nice for them, but it does not matter within the broader concert funding scheme. Second of all, it must be financial support. It must be money. It's not support in kind. It's not providing personnel or infrastructure or something to the third party. It has to be money. It has to be cash. National funding rules apply, of course. You will not be forced to break your own national funding laws or national budget laws to provide money within our concert funding scheme. And last item on this list, you have to make sure that certain provisions of the grant agreement also apply to the third party. Third party does not become a part of the concert consortium. It does not sign the grant contract. It has no legal relationship to the European Commission. But nevertheless, the European Commission wants to have some rights regarding the third party, wants to have the possibility, for example, to carry out an audit at the third party's premises. And in order to be able to do that, you have to make sure that this is possible by making certain provision from the grant agreement binding for the third party. Again, financial support essentially is a grant. It's not subcontract and it's not public procurement. There is a possibility to bring in third parties, but there is a possibility for subcontracting and under the grant agreement. That's possible. And if you're contracting work out to a third party, you have to do that while applying national procurement laws. But this is not what's meant here with financial support. If you want to go the road of subcontracting, that's an entirely different matter, and that would deserve closer scrutiny, and if you really try to go that road. Now, one more thing, one more important thing when talking about financial support to third parties. The grant agreement states that there is a maximum amount that may be provided to third parties. And you may only provide up to 300,000 euros. So And this covers both elements. It covers the Euratom co-fund, the Euratom contribution, the 69%, and your national contribution, the 31%. Briefly on the call consortia, there are rules, there are requirements laid down in the call text, and it states that the call consortium must consist of at least 3 separate legal entities, so they have to be separate from each other, they have to be independent from each other, from at least 3 different member states or associated countries. Member states of Euratom, that's pretty clear. Associated country of Euratom, that's where the distinction between EU and Euratom becomes important, because the European Union has different associate countries than Euratom. The list of associated countries to Euratom is rather short. Right now it's only Switzerland and the Ukraine. So if you're, that's been one question I believe, if you're an entity from Switzerland, it's basically possible to participate, that counts, and there even is a beneficiary, the Federal Office of Public Health, that in principle is able to provide financial support. Whether in a specific case it's up to them, that's not to be discussed here, but there is someone who's generally able to do that. And last requirement here, at least 1 third party has to participate. This requirement is to make sure that the call consortia is not a closed club. This requirement, or the purpose of this requirement, is to make sure that it is an open call, that it is open to other entities not yet in the consortium, and this forces essentially those who are trying who are forming a consortium to bring in someone, some third party, some university, hospital, whatever, research institution as a third party. Once call has been successful, it will be integrated into the grant agreement. It will become part of the grant agreement. We have already done that for the projects that were successful in the first call. We have amended the grant agreement. We have included a new work package to make sure that it's legally binding for everyone. Everyone knows what to do, under which rules everyone operates. That's one thing. Second thing we did is, and that's also almost concluded, we have, sorry, there we go. We have concluded concept grant contracts between, the concept consortium, have concluded these kind of contracts with the call consortia. In this case, in this example, it's the Confidence Consortium. Other consortia that were successful are LD Landsred and Territories. Here in this example, concluded a concept grant contract with Confidence. This complements the inclusion of the projects in the grant agreement by adding a few obligations that the consortia have to comply with. One is they have to conclude a consortium agreement. They have to create some sort of internal governance structure. So they have an instrument, a tool for their internal governance. Second, the concept grant contracts lay down the duration of the call projects. That's essentially 3 years in this case. They include the deliverables, the task, essentially the proposal with which these consortia apply to the first call, and it includes the budget and the reimbursement rate. So this is what we conclude with the successful consortia. So, to conclude, this has been a very brief overview of the call conditions. This, of course, does not substitute having a careful look at the call text. I believe Ms. Schmidt-Hanig and Natalie Impens, they link to the concert website. There you can find the full call text, and I suggest if you are interested to have a very, very close look at the call text, everything is in there, and if you have questions, feel free to contact the concert coordination team and we will try to help you out. So that's it from me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your presentation. And there are a couple of questions that came up. So I think I will just start reading out the first ones. Some of them were answered during the course of the webinar, but I think I will just read them out, and then you can say what you can say or what you want to say about that. So I will start with the first question that came up during the first talk by Annemarie. The question is a proposal, or should a proposal on topic 1 address all items, or can it also just address 1 or 2?
I think this has been clearly said also by Natalie. It can address one topic, one subtopic, or it can address 2 or 3 subtopics. So that is up to the consortium which submits the proposal.
I confirm.
Okay, thank you. The second question is, how is the payment of a project realized? So does each partner receive the money directly from the national authority?
I think this is a typical question for my colleague Michael, who has more experience when it comes to financial issues.
Okay, so want to say something to Michael, or should we answer it later?
I had troubles with my program. There has been a question for me.
Yes.
Yes, the question: how is the project? How is the payment of the project realized? Does each partner receive the money directly from the national authority? It's the second question.
Maybe I can go quickly back to the respective slide if it works. As I try to explain, okay. The key player here is the beneficiary or the linked third party. By the way, there is a list of all beneficiaries or linked third parties at the in an annex to the call text. Everything revolves around the beneficiary and the linked third party. The beneficiary, as I said, provides money to a third party, and the beneficiary will be reimbursed for this financial support. Does it? I don't know if this makes it a little bit clearer, but essentially it's very, very simple because everything starts and ends with the beneficiary.
Okay, thank you. And I think we go on with the next question. What is the funding rate? Is it 100% for all action, or does it depend on national rules?
Yes, this is also a question for my colleague Michael. Michael, please take it.
Yes, I might have answered it. The funding rate for concert as a whole, again, is 70%, or you receive the 70% reimbursement. Specifically for the call, it's 69%, and that's also in the call text. So 69% of the costs are reimbursed. However, maybe this causes a bit confusion, or is confusing, because this applies for the beneficiary and the linked third party. The third party receives whatever it receives. The third party receives 100%. The money the third party receives includes the national contribution, 31%, and the Euratom contribution, 69%. The beneficiary again will be reimbursed 69%. 31% of the money the beneficiary gives to the third party, they are national contribution. They are, if you want, they are lost. Does that help a little bit?
Thank you. I think so. I hope so.
Okay.
So the next question, I think, came up during Natalie's talk. It's just asking if some of I'm actually not sure I can understand it. So I think the question is why was there only one project for each main theme in some of the topics?
I'm not sure I understand the question quite well, but I will try to answer. So I think this refers to the first call, and that it is different with the rules that I presented now for the second call. And indeed there are some different rules on this, but it is just because we saw that there was an unbalance in the funding on the different disciplines in radiation protection research that we have set this new rule first to fund 80% on topic 1 and 20% on topic 2, and also that there is clearly set now how many top projects will be funded in topic 1 and topic 2. So this is what I understand that I can clarify on this.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is, what is the remaining budget for the second call, and how many projects are expected to be funded?
So the total budget for the second call is 6.98 million euro.
Okay, thank you. And then a question about the platform. So what is the importance of those, and are they advisors?
Well, the platforms, they contain, as I shown, maybe this question came before my presentation, but as I have shown, the platforms, they have many members in many different member states in Europe, and they gather, in fact, all the experts, or more or less all experts in the different disciplines in radiation protection research. And in this way, these platforms, they have their own working groups to set up strategic research agenda. So they nominate themselves some experts within their platforms, on people working dedicatedly on strategic research agendas and priority statements. And as such, for a concert, indeed, we look at them as a kind of advisors. And within concert, in Work Package 2, each platform has a task where they can use some EC funding to actualize their strategic research agendas and their priorities. So on one hand, they are European platforms. On the other hand, in fact, they gather also program owners and program managers, experts, to define in a European coordinated way the priorities in their disciplines. I hope this answers this question a bit.
Thank you. And the next question, actually the next two questions would be, how can a small company or small research group working in the field of radiation protection can get involved? So where to start and how to proceed? And also, how can an SME or research group that are not currently LTP can get involved?
Personally, I would like to prefer that Michael answers this question because I'm not a specialist. And there I would like to add my question on this topic. Suppose that I'm a beneficiary and I need a small company to do part of my research work. I need to procure this in a way. So I would like to link the question on national procurement rules, how this works.
Okay, I can try to answer that. Any entity, be it a company or university, research institution, can participate in the call as a third party. You do not, of course, you do not have to be a linked third party. And as I said, every call consortium has to include at least one third party, one institution, one entity that does not seek the status of beneficiary or linked third party. So in this respect, the call is open to everyone. And as far as funding is concerned, what is always possible is that an entity participates using their own resources, that is not asking for any financial support. Because that's not very attractive, but it's possible. And the second possibility is to approach a beneficiary or a linked third party for financial support. And in order to know whom to contact, as I said, there is a list of beneficiaries of contacts in an annex to the call text. So you can, or everyone can figure out for their respective country whom to approach and request financial support in order to participate in a call consortium. Regarding the matter of public procurement, I try to point out that financial support, if someone provides financial support to a third party, that is not the same as in quotation marks buying their service. That's something else. That's subcontracting. If an entity, if a beneficiary says, I need someone to perform a certain task or to provide laboratory services or something like that, that's a matter for a subcontract. That's subcontracting work out to someone who offers these services on the market, and that, of course, is subject to public procurement laws. So in this case, if a beneficiary wants to, so to speak, outsource a task to someone else, that's subcontracting. That's concluding a normal contract with this institution, with this purveyor of services or something. And of course, you have to comply with whatever the national public procurement laws require. Again, maybe to better distinguish between subcontract and financial support, I try to think of financial support as providing a grant. That's the basis for this grant. Can be a contract, does not have to be. In Germany it's not a contract, usually not, and other countries depends. Subcontracting, as the word says, that means you conclude a contract with someone. You need a service, you need some goods, and you buy them on the market. That's something else. That's not giving a grant. I hope that was helpful.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the answers. So I think there are a couple of more questions. So one is any detailed descriptions of the priorities available?
Yes, they are available at the website. As I said, I tried to give them detail, but I would not have been able to give my presentation in 15 minutes. So I really invite everybody to go to the link of the website of CONCERT and read there the full text of the priorities.
Okay, thank you. And then next two questions, I will put them together because I think they are very short ones. So the first one, can a legal entity from Switzerland participate and receive funding? And the second one, what is the evaluation time needed?
I think this is for Michael.
I don't know about the evaluation time, but I can say something on Switzerland. Switzerland is an associated country to Eurozone, so a legal entity from Switzerland can participate, of course. And as I said, there is at least a possibility to request financial support from the Swiss beneficiary in concert. That's the Federal Office of Public Health.
Okay, thank you. Now we have some more questions that came up during Michael's talk. So, but yeah, the first one I think we already covered on public procurement. The second one is, as a flow from the beneficiary or LTP, is that subcontracting?
No, again,
Okay.
it's not subcontracting. It's a grant.
Okay. Then the next.
Oh,
yeah, no, go on.
I was hoping to have explained that as good as possible, but this question keeps popping up, and maybe those who have an issue or have a problem with the explanation could specify what exactly their issue or what their problem is with this item, so I can maybe rephrase my answer, my response to that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. The next question would be, does this mean that a research institute cannot be a direct beneficiary of the consortium, but only a third party, which will be reimbursed by the POM?
No, that depends on the role of this of a research institute within the respective country. Earlier I explained that the Eurozone work program distinguishes between program owners and program managers, and only these essentially can become a beneficiary. Typically, program owner a ministry, so a research institute is not a ministry. They are not going to be a program owner, but if the ministry in a country says, mandates the task of managing a radiation protection research program to a research institute, well, it may be also attain the status of beneficiary. The answer to the first part of the question is it depends. It depends on the status of the research institute within the respective country. If it manages the radiation protection research program, it may become a beneficiary and thereby a member of the consortium. If it is linked or affiliated to a beneficiary, it can become a linked third party. If it is not, well, then it will be treated as a third party. That's the last possibility, last option that exists.
Okay, thank you. And I think we covered the one on the funding, but there's one, are there limitations on how many project proposals one principal investigator may coordinate, and can the same institute participate in more than one proposal?
The matter of mixed funding or a mixed funding as proposed in this question, that occurs, this matter occurs rather often. No, that's not what is intended with Concert, and it's not what's intended with the grant agreement. The purpose, or one of the objectives of Concert is integrating the European radiation protection research funding structures with the national funding structures. And in order to do that, they have this mix of co-fund from Euratom, the 69% in this case from Euratom, and 31% national money from a program owner or a program manager. That's not the own funding of the third party. That's not what's intended. If we or the European Commission allowed something like that, that would circumvene the whole purpose of Concert, of integrating European and national research structures. So that's not possible. The 31% have to come from a beneficiary, not from your own pocket as a third party. Regarding the maximum of project, I'm not quite sure. You'd have to read the call text thoroughly on that. There is a rule on that. There is a requirement on that on the call text. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is that you may only coordinate one project. But I don't have the call text in front of me, so whoever is interested in that should check what the call text says, and if that's unclear, contact the call steering secretariat, that's ANR, or contact the Concert coordination team, and we'd have to figure out. But as I said, I believe it's somewhere in the call text.
Okay, so I think we covered all questions. Did I miss something? There were also some more going on in the chat. So, but I think it might be good to stop here. Or is there anything else very burning questions anyone have that we should include now? I see no one typing. So I want to thank you all again, thank all the speakers again for this very interesting and very informative webinar. And I'll say goodbye, and yeah, hope to see you next time again in our next webinar. Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.